month of March. I'm Barbara Black, and I'm going to be talking to you today about our month 3 block of the month, the Color My World. The blocks that we're making this month are the remaining small houses 3 and 4. We will make 8 of each of those this month, and they will go along with the 8 small house number 1s and small house number 2s that we made in month 1. There are resources for you besides the patterns, and I'm going to show you where these are in a little bit. What I'm going to do this in this session, I'll start by talking about small houses 3 and 4, how to cut them, and the background again. We'll review some of those things. And then I'm going to share my screen and we'll look at the forum and the patterns and places like that that are new on the website. We're all finding our way around, so I want to show you some of the things that I found and help answer some of the questions that have come along. So we'll do that at the end. And I will also then pull up the chat questions where I can see any questions that you may have. So don't hesitate to put questions in there if there's things that I'm not clear about or that you want some more information on. So we have resources for you besides the pattern, which has Wendy's great instructions, but there's always benefits from having some more help and some more tips. So every month on the first day of each month, I release my blog, which is bbquiltmaker.blogspot.com, and I write that on the pattern we're doing for that particular month. So on March 1st, my blog went up that had my tips for this month, what we're going to do. I've also done a video for this month, and that was put up at the same time that the patterns went up, which this time was, I think, a day early. So I'll show you where they are. The videos, I'm not gonna play the video for you today. It's 13 minutes, but it's very good, and it'll be a refresher with what I'm going to talk about today. But it's got lots of pictures, and of course, it's a video. So I hope that you'll take advantage of those things every month before you start. So the month, I'm going to show you with my camera for just a second the pattern page, and we can take a look at that. Okay, so in the color picture that you have in the pattern is some of the blocks. This is small house 3, this is small house 4. They're different from 1 and 2 in the way the windows were designed. And the other thing that's neat about the color picture is it's actually a photograph from the finished quilt. Wendy's quilt was long arm quilted by a wonderful quilter in Australia, and it shows all of the detail of how these particular 2 houses were quilted. And I did use these as my guide to help myself when I got started quilting mine. And I did a lot of stitch in the ditch, and then I've been asked would I put pictures up of mine, and I will. I will do a substantial blog probably this summer with pictures of every part on my quilt, the places, how I quilted it, and what I came up with. You can't make it till the quilt's finished, which is December, so there's no real rush to get into that, but I will do that and show you how I did it. I was very pleased with a lot of ruler work in this quilt for me, and it went together really well. So, but you've got that information right there on the pattern page showing you a picture of how some of these houses were quilted. On the back side, the cutting instructions, I want to mention a couple of things. And these are the things I talk about in my video and my blog that why I encourage you to watch and read those before you cut anything. There are a couple of these pieces, the windows on house 3 and house 4, that the dimensions tell you to cut them 1 1/4 by 2 inches. And that's small, and it works, and it shows you in the video that it works, but I quickly discovered with these small pieces, I was much happier if I would simply cut them a little larger. So any measurement for me on the pattern cutting instructions that say to cut them 1 1/4 or smaller, and coming this summer when we start doing the tall buildings, some of them are smaller than that, I just upped that measurement to 1 1/2. So I cut my windows 1 1/2 by 2, 1 1/2 by 2, and I just wrote that on my pattern. The 1 1/4 will work, but you just have to be extra close and getting that kind of all figured out. And there's not a lot of wiggle room, in other words. So, and I'm more than happy to waste a 1/4 inch of fabric to make it easier for myself. So that's my recommendation for the cutting on this particular month. The patterns are similar, as I said, to what we did in month 1 and 2, or month 1, houses 1 and 2. But house 3 has an extra part. It has a middle section. This is one of the windows. You can see the picture over there. Okay, this is one of the windows, and up here in this top half is the remaining window of how that is done. And those are the pieces I was talking about that are really small. There's several other pieces here that are pretty small as well. These little one guys here, and that's the pattern as well. It tells you to cut those 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. Yes, that will work, but 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 made it easier. And I show that in the video, the comparison of the two sizes and how you do that. So the sections are very similar. This is house 3. This is house 4. I know that because I've clearly labeled my patterns. Remember, once you cut the pattern pieces out, you don't know which one is which, and they have angles that are different. This top of this one, the large size is on the, well, it'll be reversed when you turn it over, but looking at it here, it's on the left. The large size over here is on the right. So that brings me to the background cutting. You can certainly follow the pattern instructions. Wendy's instructions have you cut rectangles for those particular shapes. And that's what we're talking about, is these shapes here. And her measurements will work. What I found is that it put a lot of bias on the outside edges, so I just came up with a way that I could cut them larger. We're going to use the exact same background cutting instructions that I came up with. I call it speed cutting of the background. This is the same document that was released on January 1st for use in month 1 and month 1 houses, small houses 1 and 2. On this side, oh, and those for part month 3, the measurements are right here. I didn't add this month. This has been here the whole time. So when you printed out this document on January 1st or after, you've got this same information on this piece of paper. The bottom half here says also for small house 3 and 4. Small house 3 is, where'd you go here? Yeah, so the small house 3 is labeled N. You got stuck to something. Here it is. Okay. So on small house 3, the small half of the background is N, and on small house 4 it's J for the small one, and it says that right there. And once again, we have to cut some straight up, face up and face down. This one is a face up. It's the 7-inch size, and that's for small house 4. And then on the back side, the second page of this is cutting a strip of background 5.5 by 7.5, and that's these here. Okay. So if you find it confusing that some of these rectangles you cut 6 inches long, some 7, some 7.5, simply cut them all 7.5. Then you're guaranteed to have every piece fit everywhere it needs to fit. I showed on the video, which I do strongly encourage you to watch, for this month, how I don't have a whole lot of this fabric left, and I'm really being pretty stingy with what I have left. So to make this rectangle 5.5 by 7.5, I took 2 strips that I had left over and sewed them together and put a seam down the middle. And you can see, based on where this seam is, that these 2 fabrics were cut apart. I sewed them together, pressed the seam up, and sewed them together. But when I put it in a quilt block, with this busy print like this, you're not going to see the seam. I have to be this close that I can see it. There's that seam on that side, and here's this seam on this side. They disappear. Now, if you're using a fabric that reads very much as a solid, yes, you would see a seam. So this is not something you would want to do in that scenario. But several people are using some really wonderful, pretty busy backs, and this is just a solution if you have some small pieces that you want to use up. So the video, again, I went into some great detail in that 13-minute video, again, on how to cut these and where they go. It tells you right here on the page what you're cutting. This is 5.5 by 7.5. It's generating small house number 3, part O, and small house number 4, part K, which are, again, the larger pieces. Here's K in small house 4, and here's O in small house 3. So that's where they come from. And if you just want to follow Wendy's directions and use the rectangles, that's perfectly fine too. This is, I don't want to make it confusing. I just want to make it fun. And if it's helpful for you, that's terrific. Okay, so when you get these houses put finished, all 32 of them, you can this month start to put them together. All right. This is two from the first month. This is I've actually given away to one of my friends who was thrilled to get them. All of the spare blocks of these that I made. So I don't have threes and fours made at the moment, but this is a one and a two. Wendy recommends in her pattern that you sew them together 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around all 32 of the blocks. But she also stresses the importance of the color arrangement of where the fabrics are and how they go together. So you putting them on your wall, your design space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a great way to start when you have all 32 of them done. Then look at it and see, do you have two orange houses together? Do you have two blue houses? Are the doors all the same in a few, but you don't have any green in that section over there? Just whatever pleases you. A great way to see it is to take pictures of it in color pictures. The houses are already made, so the value is not going to be that much of an issue. But it's just a chance for you to see it from a distance. Taking a photograph really puts you backwards and really lets you see it. But please, 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 only sew two together in a pair this entire month. So if you have all 32 houses done, you will have 16 pairs, period. Don't sew them together as a big circle, because next month in April, we're going to add the trees. And the trees will be much, much easier to put on a pair than they would be to put 16 trees on a completely sewn together circle of 32 trees. I think you could see that that would certainly be the case. So when you go to put them together, and I say this in the video so I won't overload it too much, but start down here at the bottom and sew the seam up to the upper top. It could be that some of your houses are not exactly the same size. They're off by an eighth. They might be off by even as much as a quarter. But starting at the bottom, because this curve, and it's a slight curve, is going to be sewn to the inner road, which is sewn to the mariner's compass, and we will do that in month 5. It's not that critical that the top pieces be exactly lined up, because as I just said, we're going to cover that up completely. No one is going to see what the top of yours looks like. We will also next month be using the quick bias this is Clover's quick bias. It's 1/4 inch. It's fusible. It was to me, you need almost 16 yards, so about 16 yards for this entire quilt. It's got fusible on it already. It's really wonderful. The spools come in a package of 11 yards, of course, so you would need 2 of them. You can always make your own bias if you want. There are Clover bias tape makers that make a 1/4 inch, which is what this is, 1/4 inch finished. We'll have great detail next month on how you use this to make your tree trunks. We're going to put our big tree trunk and 2 smaller trunks and things like that. But if you want to make your own bias, that's perfectly fine. If you turned out to be a little bit wider, you've just got a fatter tree, then some places might be wider, might be narrower. That's perfectly fine. It's your quilt. Make it the way you want it. But this product is back in the Quilt Show store. It had been, they were waiting for the shipments to come in. If you bought the original kits, the 2 spools of bias were included in the kit, and I believe by now they've all been sent out. They've been getting those mailed out to everyone. We didn't want to hold up your kit just for this, because you don't even need this yet till month 4, but now it's time. And they do have it for sale in spools in the Quilt Show store. I saw it yesterday. I looked for it right there. So that's what we'll be doing. When you sew the 2 together, here's the time to be as accurate as you possibly can. And I just really stress this the most because we have 32 of these houses, which means that to put them in a circle, we're going to have 32 seams. Just think about that for a minute. If every seam was off by a 1/16 of an inch, that's a significant amount of gap being off, either too narrow or too wide. So you want to be as accurate as you possibly can with your seam allowance and press the seam open when you get it done. If you're not sure about your 1/4 inch seam allowance, do a couple little practice pieces. Cut some rectangles. I love to cut little rail fence blocks. They're rectangles 4.5 inches high by 1.5 inches wide. So 4 of those together, press it, and that little rail fence block should be 4.5 inches high by 4.5 inches wide. That's a good way to check to make sure that you're getting the exact seam allowance. We don't have any measurements to tell you that this should be this wide and this should be this wide. We don't have any of that. You're not going to get that unless you create it yourself, generate your own little template. But I put this entire quilt together just following Wendy's instructions, and the only measurement I went with was the 1-inch square box on every one of my pattern pages, and it fit together beautifully. When I got the circle done, I was very, very pleased, and yeah, a little worried till we got there, but it was great. I was thrilled that it all went together. So that's what's coming, and putting these together in pairs is a fun thing when you get this done. Then you know you're getting close to being able to make this first a big inside circle with all of your small houses. So, okay, let me go back to here for a second. All right. As Alex has been explaining to everybody who's watching these lives, this is not the quilt show. That's when the quilt show tapings are very high-end professional. They've got terrific camera people. I'm here in my studio. I am the lighting guy. I'm the mic guy. I'm the video guy. I'm the camera operator, 2 or 3 cameras. I mean, I don't have John in the next room saying, make your sound higher, make your sound lower. So it's just it is what it is, and we're all learning, and I'm getting there with this. The technology side of things is not my favorite thing, but so that's the information I want to impart for month 3, houses 3 and 4. And again, the blog and the video goes into a little more detail on this, pretty much what I've covered today. So let me share my screen now and give you a little bit of a tour of what I've learned of the last few days. Okay, I am here. So I am logged in. I know I'm logged in because it says welcome Barbara. And I can go to my dashboard and it shows when my account would have to be renewed and all that kind of information. The other way I know I'm logged in the form, and here's where I am. Okay, so welcome Barbara says I'm logged in, and I am in Connect right now, which is the forum, and it's highlighted yellow, so I can see that. I can search the forum here. I could type my name. I could type a username. I could type printing templates or anything I wanted to type to help me search for things. This page right here says you are here. I love the name of this. They call this the breadcrumbs row. So you know where you are and how to get back out when you need to leave. So it's the forum. And one of the things that you'll discover quickly is that there's no create new topic here or new topic. There's no button on this page that allows you to create a new topic. And personally, I was thrilled that that was not there, because I have spent many, many, many times moving people's posts where they, the default on that forum before, on the old one, was Alex Anderson's classroom. So many people who thought they were writing about the block of the month were putting things in Alex's classroom, and I'd have to move them. And so that won't happen now, because the only time you can start a new topic is when you're in the category you want to be in. So we have classrooms and lives, there's Dee and Alex's, all the various blocks of the month, including 2014, which is a special gift back in for everybody this year. Janet Stone's A to Z for You and Me patterns are back in, so that's where you'll find that. The rest of these are no longer available, and so people said, oh, I wanted to get Ruffled Roses again. Well, it's not available free from us. We only get these patterns for 1 year. We have a 1-year licensing arrangement with the designer, but that one happens to be available from Sue Garman's website, comequilt.com. But there's lots of categories, so get familiar with where they are. There might be something that you want to ask about. Help Me Learn and sewing machines and things like that down at the... I went here the other day looking for forum questions and suggestions, and so I could check to see if anyone had asked there. And there was a question there about Janet Stone's 2014 block of the month. So that would have been better posted in that section for the 2014 block of the month. So let's go look at block of the month 2021, Color My World. I click on that. And I got my fingers crossed that everything works just fine. Okay. So when I first come in here, I can see that I'm logged in. It's got my name, all of the topics. And here's that button I talked about. It's new topic. If you don't see yourself over here and the word new topic, you are not signed in as a star member. And it's simply a matter of going back over to log in and get yourself signed up. So this lists the topics, but my favorite place to start is latest activity. And so latest activity, oh good, this is something I haven't seen. Brigitte from Austria posted this picture today. My timing isn't right. I thought I had arranged for Central Time, but I think that that's a different time, but it's close enough to, it was today, this morning. And she's posted this great picture that I love this block of the month too. And I also love to see the various color schemes and so if I want to see all the things she's written, I can click on go to post. Okay. While I'm here, the first thing I like to do is I like to like your posts. When you say something positive, when you give a great tip, a great idea, I go back to that whole thing of the number 10 edge stitch foot, which is a game changer for so many of us. I was thrilled with that information. I'm still thrilled that one of the people here on the couple people recommended that. And so I've just liked Brigitte's picture there, and I can put it right there. If I wanted to comment on it, I could click right here and comment on it. I've done that sometimes. Look at this one. I saw this morning. That is, she says, no houses for me. I'm just going to do something different. And so that is pretty cool. Look at that Mariner's Compass with the different colors. She said, I had trouble with their Mariner's Compass, making it round. Points were bulky. So I could go to that post and see the whole thing if I wanted to. Somebody's asking about how do you store your unfinished blocks. People don't want to just throw them in a bag. So this person uses 3 commercial cookie sheets. So this is what's been going on under latest activity. This is the things, and I find this the easiest way for me to pop in and see what people are talking about so I can see where I might have to answer a question. I also subscribed to this category, and that you'll see that I can unsubscribe, but I am subscribed. And the subscription is supposed to, as I understand it, send an email, and I've set that up. See if this is where the filter is for this. No, okay. So there is under filter here. I'm going to change this. I want a new topics on because, oh, that's what it brings me back to. Okay, cool. And I want to show them all. And this says I can show them all time or just today or last week or last month. So you've got a lot of control in your settings now, and you can't hurt it. So take a little time to look around and you can see. At the moment, this topic where this page has 2 pages, 1 of 2, and you can click on that arrow to go to the second one. Okay, so, and again, the breadcrumbs, I'm in the forum at block of the month 2021, Color My World. Okay, and back to topics. And then I can look and see somebody was asking about Mariner's Compass. How do you store your unfinished blocks? This little blue thing here, and I could be wrong, but when I see that, it shows me something that's new. Let me look at that. Month 3 show small houses here. I've tried to do topics that'll make it easy for you to, if you have a question, put it over here. If you want to just show off your blocks, put them over here. So yes, I know my face is not there. Yes, I know you don't know who has made this post. They know that. They're working on getting my account straightened out. There's plenty of things that they're working on, so I'm not concerned about that. Eventually, you'll see I put a new picture up, and you'll see that picture in there. And I've started, when I reply to you, to give a name. Put my name in there so you'll know who it is. There again is Brigitte, and you can see there's the, I have liked it. So if I wanted to unlike it right now, I would just click on that again. Here's another one. There's some from Germany. It's just great to see them. This person this is pretty cool. Let's pull up her little picture here and take a look. Wow, that looks pretty cool. I better like that one because that is really wonderful. It's easier to put in photos to this blog, so get comfortable with that. Give a little try. That's a good way for people want to see what's cooking. So that's where we are in the forum and just some of the ways. There's some options over here under your name, user settings. Now let me show you some of those. There's account, reputation, private messaging. I don't want to get private messages. Please put your messages on the forum. So I have changed that I will not receive private messages. You can always email me through my blog if you have to, but the great thing about posting on the forum is I'm not the only person in the world that knows an answer to a question, and you can get answers from other people when I'm not looking at this, and I'm not looking at this 24/7. It just seems that way. I've indicated that I want to show my signature and show my avatar and display mode for latest activity. So that's one on the account. Then there's privacy and who can see whatever you put up, and then notifications. And this is automatically I want this subscribe when posting. If you don't want to get a notification every time someone posts on your answers of a post that you've made, then you would turn that off. That's how you do that. And right now I've asked for on daily and waiting to see that happens. But there's a lot of control, as I said, that are here, and I haven't changed anything, but I'll hit save changes anyway. So just look around and see where you want to be, and go back to, I'm in user settings, and go back to the forum. And again, the forum is all of the categories that are set up. These are already established, and then you would find the one that most pertains to what it is you're interested in asking about. Okay, the other place I want to talk about is Learn. Most of you at this point, if you've printed your patterns, have learned what you needed to learn. Like, where are the patterns? So there's lots of ways to get to block of the month. There's a nice big picture right here, so you could click on that. Down here, search by category, block of the month, and the very first one, of course, is the one we're working on. So I go into there, and this one shows the basic information that we have, the full picture, and slide on down a little bit. Then there's these YouTube lives, all of the lives that I've done. You can click on those and it'll take you there. There's also click here to visit Barbara Black's blog. The name of my blog is My Joyful Journey. You can follow my blog. A lot of people do. You can follow by email. You can follow with Blog Lovin', or that way every time I send one out. Normally it's Wednesday and Sunday, and on the first of each month is the block of the month. And I've got tutorials and a lot of other things you might find helpful. Then the introduction that we did way back when, and then we've got month 1, month 2, and here's month 3. Okay, so you would hit view for month 3, and when you go to view, the first page you come to on this left, it shows is videos. And that's the one I'm talking about. It's 13 minutes and 9 seconds long. It reiterates again some of what I've told you today, but in a little more detail about how to make small houses 3 and 4. Then some related products. It'll take you right to the store. And you could click on one of these. It'll take you right in there. I'll show you another way to get to the store. And then documents. Here's where those. So videos and documents. You go to documents, month 3. You can download it to your computer, or you can simply view the file. Most people find they get a better printing result from printing from the downloaded file to their computer. Okay. And then that same cutting instructions. This is the same document that, as I mentioned, that we did January 1st, we released it. And so it's the same exact document from then. If you put it with your month 1 stuff, you still have it. You don't need to print another copy of it, but there it is. Okay. So that's how you find your way around this particular, the pattern for the month. And each month it'll be like that. Let me just show you the shop. I'll go to the shop for a second, and then you can look around in the shop. Block of the month. So what have we got for block of the month? We've got the kits. We are sold out of the confetti, and they were working on getting some more kits made that will include the Art History 101. Notify me. That's where you let them know you want to be notified when it's back in the shop, so that you can get an email to get that. And here's the bias tape I was talking about right there, and it is available at the moment. They've got it, as I mentioned, there's 11 yards on a spool. The quilt takes about 16, somewhere between 15 and 17 yards, and that'll get you in there. So that's kind of the gist of it. Let me go back to my webcam. Okay. Timing is pretty good. So now I'm going to look and see if you have any questions for me. Okay. Let me start up here at the top and work my way down. All right, Massachusetts, New York City, California. There's Rondi in Livermore. I feel like I know Rondi. She's here all the time. Okay. Okay, Norma says I cannot sign in and voicemail is full, so she's been trying to call customer service. See if you can send an email to customer service, and if you can't, through my blog, you can send an email to me and be clear about what the issue is. If it's matter of your password isn't accepted or something like that, it would be very helpful if you make sure we have a really good email for you that you want to be responded at, and a telephone number. We want to get everybody in as quickly as possible. Hi from Utah. Love the new use website. Western Maine. Okay, love the love the Mariners Compass. I made a whole bunch of them. All righty. Howdy from Arkansas. Brazil, Louisiana. Okay. I don't know why it says hello, D. I'm not D. D's tomorrow. Okay. Somebody's got some. All right. I tried to get a picture in the form, but didn't go. Okay. Somebody tried to put a picture in. How many backgrounds should you make for each set of 8 buildings? Does one template make 2? Yes. One rectangle makes 2 backgrounds. So you're making 8 house number 3 and 8 house number 4. So each rectangle that if you're using my speed cutting methods, would generate 2. So to make 8, you would need 4 rectangles, and then you need the other size as well, the smaller side. Tried to post a form and wouldn't work. What technique is used for next month on the trees? That's a great question. I'll show you again when I come back to the webcam. It's applique, and you could do it any way that you want. Alex has been doing her great applique information right now. I turned the edge under and machine stitched it down with a straight stitch, and I'll give you lots of different ways to do that next month. But it's applique, and if you want to do raw edge applique and do a decorative stitch, you certainly could do that too. Margaret says, thank you, love these videos, it really helps. Well, good, because this is outside my wheelhouse, to tell you the truth. Thanks for the pattern. Okay. All righty. So let me go back here. Okay. So I won't switch back to the camera again because we're about done. But this is the tree top, and there's a little template that you'll get that shows you how to cut it and trim it. I drew my pencil line on the top side of the fabric. I used the kit fabric, so the nice thing is that either side works the same, and there's 2 different greens in the kit fabric to make the tree tops. So I just turned the edge under after I got it placed, pinned it in place, and machine stitched it with a straight stitch and thread. But I tried lots of alternatives before I settled on the straight stitch. My slogan in quilting and in life, but particularly in quilting, is I want the fastest method that gives me the result I want. So in this case, the result I wanted was a nicely turned edge that was stitched in place. And for me, the fastest method turned out to be to use the straight stitch. But your results may vary. So it's just a matter of taking a look and trying some different things. And I'll show you those little samples that I tried out when I was doing that. So, okay, well, so we've got the new website, and I'm encouraging you to take a look around, and you can let us know if you're having any kind of issues there. We want to know so we can get you straightened out. As I've said all along, I want you to be successful with this quilt. Wendy wants you to be successful. The Quilt Show team wants you to be successful. So ask away at all the questions that you want. And until the first Thursday in April, that's a wrap.